Now at 5, an icon of Indianapolis sports now under new ownership. A household name in motorsports, Roger Penske buys the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We have team coverage of today's major announcement.
Live look at the track. Rain is falling in some areas of central Indiana. We're tracking when the showers move out and when another cold front moves in.
Plus, the Colts could be down another quarterback. Our sports team is live tonight. They've got updates on Jacoby Brissett's knee injury and what's next for him.
News 8 at 5 starts now.
A lot to get to. Thanks for joining us. First at 5, it is one of the biggest transactions in the history of motorsports. Roger Penske introduced as the new owner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, the Holman family sold the track after more than 70 years of ownership. News 8 Sierra Hignite, David Williams, and Charlie Clifford all covering the story for us tonight. First, let's get out to Richard Essex. He spoke to Penske about the sale today. Richard?
Well, Roger Penske is known as the captain around racing circles. He has 14 wins out here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, his first one in 1972. And this morning when I asked him about the history of this place, he says as the new steward and the new owner of the track, he intends to maintain all the long, rich history out here at this facility. The rumblings of Roger Penske buying the Indianapolis Motor Speedway have been reverberating around the racing world for a few weeks. Penske and Tony George revealed this morning that discussions began at the end of the racing season.
They came to me. It wasn't something I was knocking on their door, but I look for good opportunities, and especially things that we know something about. We are track owners. We obviously have run races. I think our domain knowledge puts us in the right position. We have the financial wherewithal to do the transaction, and we're here a long-term player. This isn't buy it, fix it up, and sell it.
The one question that neither Penske or George would answer is how much. Both companies are private, and the sale and the conditions of the sale are not going to be public. What was made public, Tony George choking up when asked why the track was being sold.
It's obviously emotionally difficult, hence the choking up. But, we all love it, and we all care deeply for it. And, I think we all realize that as a family and as an organization, we probably had taken it as far as we can. Roger Penske is very aware of what the Indianapolis Motor Speedway means to Indianapolis and to Speedway, Indiana. He also has a vision for the track.
And we look around, this 1,000 acres, and we say, can this be the entertainment, really, capital, not only the racing capital of the world, but the entertainment capital of the world in Indiana?
In 1972, a Team Penske driver by the name of Mark Donahue won the team's first race here at Indianapolis. Almost 50 years later, Penske is talking about his plans for the next 75 years.
In the United States of America, hard work and commitment with a good team pays off, and I guess that's one of the benefits I can say why I'm here today.
Now we know that Roger Penske is very familiar with pit road, but Penske will also walk the entire property tomorrow and start holding meetings with staff almost right away. Now, should we expect any major changes out here at the Speedway, like lights? That was one of the things that was talked about today. He did kind of mention it, but didn't make any kind of firm commitments to putting lights around the Motor Speedway. He did talk about maintaining NASCAR and bringing back F1. Now, he expects to have the sale closed by the end of this year. At the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Richard Essex, Wish TV, News 8.
Lights would be pretty cool. All right, Richard, thank you. Let's get to Sierra Hignite now.
So she's also at the track with more on the family history leading up to today's announcement. Sierra.
Brooke and Mike, it was definitely an emotional today, as Richard showed you inside that press conference, as people reflected back on the Holman George era here at the track. And while many people said they are excited looking to the future, even Penske says it took a lot to get this track to where it is today. What we know is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway was built in 1909 as a testing facility for the growing automobile industry. The first race on this track was a motorcycle race that same year. Then they had no idea what this motor parkway would become.
The history goes back to, the same people that founded this facility are founders of our community, and so that history is really strongly tied in, and we're going to see that continue, I think.
In 1927, Eddie Rickenbacker purchased IMS for $750,000, but the Speedway would fall on hard times during World War II, closing in 1942. Then enter Tony Holman.
Well, you look at how it started right after World War II. I mean, Tony Holman saved basically the Motor Speedway. It was struggling after not running during World War II.
In 1945, the Holman George family purchased IMS for $750,000, starting the longest period of ownership in the track's history.
The Holman family has been great partners to the town of Speedway.
Holman and Company has been around for nearly 170 years. In the company's time, they've worn a lot of different hats.
We've been distillers, we've been brewers, we've been grocers, we've been produce, canned goods, just about everything.
But there was an emotional connection involved in this deal.
Nancy and I, anyway, we came home from the hospital to a home just right down the street here. So we've literally grown up around it. Our kids and grandkids have done the same.
A track that originally was built to test cars has become home to many different styles of racing and has created a culture to accompany it.
The town has changed so much over those years, and this facility has changed so much over those years for the positive.
Now, Penske will only be the fourth person to ever have stewardship of this track in its more than 100-year existence. Live at IMS, I'm Sierra Hignite, Wish TV News 8.
Hear that emotion. All right, Sierra, thank you. Racing fans, small overreacting to today's big news.
A lot of talkers. News 8's David Williams spent the day talking to quite a few of them. So what are they saying, David?
Well, there's a mix of emotions. Some people said they were surprised. Others said they're confident and looking forward to what's to come. I spoke to neighbors who have lived in Speedway for decades, and you can see the pagoda from their doorstep. You could describe the mood in neighborhoods as mixed. Some people were not surprised. Others feel like Penske's company owning the iconic Speedway is a very good fit. Another person said they felt sad because they see this as the end of a decades-long era. Well, regardless, in the tight-knit community of Speedway, word traveled quickly today.
Penske, in very real terms, is a good fit because, you know, it's not just his history here, but, you know, he cares enough about the race to keep things, you know, going in a good way. And I think that's what a place like this needs.
I don't see a problem with that. You know, Penske, you know, he's known to be into the racing all his life.
Coming up all new at 6, I will introduce you to a super fan who made a huge life purchase based on the Speedway. You don't want to miss this in less than an hour. I'm David Williams, Wish TV News 8.
All right, in the last half hour, IMS President Doug Bowles tweeted out about the sale. He said the professionalism, integrity, and values of Penske Corporation match perfectly with those of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're confident Penske Corporation will be a faithful, vibrant steward of this great facility and its events, ensuring a bright, successful future.
We are also hearing from Governor Eric Holcomb on the sale. In a statement, he said in part, the biggest single-day sporting event on planet Earth is about to get even bigger and better. I couldn't be more excited about the future of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with the captain, Roger Penske, at the helm. Mayor Joe Hogsett also sent News 8 a statement. It says in part, I know Roger Penske and the Penske Corporation will continue this legacy, acting as ambassadors for Indianapolis and presiding over another century of progress, innovation, and sporting excellence at the world's greatest racetrack. Drivers also reacting to today's news, and many are excited about the future of IndyCar.
Yeah, our Charlie Clifford is joined by Wish TV racing analyst Tice Carlson now with what could change at the track. Charlie?
Mike and Brooke, thank you. First and foremost, we're trying to figure out how much Roger forked over for this puppy. What is it, a B or an M? Millions or billions? Where are we at?
I'm thinking Bob.
Bob?
I'm thinking Bob. I think with everything that's in line, I think that it could be $1 billion purchase.
You've been on the phone all day. Racers, owners, what are you hearing?
Yeah, I'm hearing excitement. You know, I'm hearing, you know, Tony George said that he thought that his family took IMS and IndyCar to the highest level that they could. So doing that, it means that if you want to grow, you have to change. Roger Penske, been here since 1951 when he's 14 years old.
Still got him.
He loves the sport. They went to him and asked him to purchase it. They wouldn't have went to anybody else. They wouldn't have accepted an offer from anybody else.
Point.
I think it's only going to go up.
And it was a quick negotiation. Doesn't sound like they went back and forth on price for long.
No, and you know, Roger loves the Speedway and he can scratch that check.
Now, what we need to figure out tonight, how does this work from a competitive standpoint? Everyone knows Penske, he's the Yankees of racing. How is this going to work next season?
Well, no, everybody's talking about a conflict of interest. Tim Cindric runs Team Penske.
Yeah.
Roger Penske runs Penske Corporation. That's the way that he's going to do business. He's going to go and walk the Speedway tomorrow. He's going to talk to all the powers out at the Speedway. He's asking them for their top 10 wish list. He's going to go over that. and he's going to probably let some of them have free reign to do what they want to do to make everything better.
So you take a look here. He's had 2 most recent winners, Will Power, Simon Pagenaud. What's the first change you expect to see next season? What will be different around Indianapolis, potentially?
Well, potentially around Indianapolis, I see that there may, he may try and incorporate that double header. We keep hearing about, about IndyCar, NASCAR, the Cup Series doing a double header. You may not see it in Indianapolis. You may see it starting at the Roval.
Okay, that's Tice Carlson, everybody. Full day of work on a Monday for you.
Absolutely. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Brooke, Mike, back to you.
All right, thanks, guys. Our coverage of the big sale continues online as well. There you can watch this morning's news conference in its entirety, plus more reaction to the announcement. That is all at wishtv.com right now.
All right, let's take a live look outside. I know another racing fan who's been talking about this, but our own Marcus Bailey taking a live look out there at the track. Marcus, how are things looking today?
About as gloomy as what it is looking at IMS, at least sky cover wise, right?
Right.
It's a very exciting day, right? But yes, we've seen some raindrops kind of falling around portions of the area here for the evening drive. It's more nuisance than anything here this evening, and I think that may be the case here as we start rolling through the rest of the evening. 53 Fishers, 53 downtown, and 51 in Brownsburg. Roads are relatively dry as you kind of look there, maybe a little damp with some of the light showers, but again, this isn't real heavy rain that's pushing through. Cold front draped across the Midwest, kind of hangs around for much of the evening and overnight, so with that, cloud cover hangs tough. And we'll have some of these little blips here of very light showers from time to time as we roll through the overnight. You see the motion, everything moving from west to east, basically along the I-70 corridor. Despite all that, we were pretty mild today. We made it to the mid-50s. We're still holding on to 50 now. A little blustery, winds out of the west at around 14 miles per hour. Through the rest of the evening, keep with rain chances through the early overnight, clearing then as we near daybreak. I think it's going to be pretty chilly for the kiddos at the bus stop tomorrow. Down to 36 to kick things off as we continue to see clearing, and we are going to be cooler throughout the day, but sun-filled as we head into the day tomorrow with highs in the upper 40s. A busy 8-day forecast on the way. Rain and rain-snow mix possibly in the coldest air of the season. I'll tell you when it all happens coming up in just a few minutes.
Anthony Calhoun live here tonight from the Colts complex. A big story we're following tonight on Wish TV. Colts quarterback Jacoby Brissett. He was injured in yesterday's game against the Steelers. Is he going to miss some time? We got the latest on number 7 coming up.